So doing grade 12 mathematics paper 1, November 2024. So we're going to jump right into question 11. So question 11 is about probability. So you're definitely going to learn about how to draw a Venn diagram and answer question upon Venn diagram. So that's what you're going to be answering in 11.2. 11.3, you're going to learn how to answer question about independent event. And that's very important. So that's what you're going to be learning in this video. So let's get into it. Boom. Question 11 says that a certain number of learners are sitting for examinations in mathematics, tourism, and geography. Okay, so you got maths, tourism, and geography. Learners are sitting in these examinations. And then the bullet point number 1 says all these learners sit for at least one of these examinations. So all of these learners at least sit one of these examinations. So if we have, let's say you have examination M for mathematics, and you have examination T for tourism, and you have examination let's call it G for geography. So bullet point number 1 says that a learner at least sit one of these examinations. Okay, and then bullet 2 says the total number of learners who sit in mathematics M is 22. So the total is 22 who sits in mathematics, and they say the total number of learners who sit for tourism is 16. So T is 16. And then they say the total number of learners sitting for geography is 18. Okay. And then they say 5 learners sit for mathematics and tourism, but not geography. So you got 5 learners that sit for mathematics and tourism. So here's mathematics, right? But they say also not for geography. Okay. Mathematics and tourism, meaning this is the part where mathematics and tourism where they meet, but not geography. So you have 5 of those students who write for mathematics and tourism. And then say 4 learners sit for mathematics and geography, but not tourism. So now you have 4 learners that sit for mathematics and geography. So this part here, where they sit for mathematics and geography, but not tourism. So 4 of those students who do mathematics and geography. And then 3 learners sit for tourism and geography, but not mathematics. So now you have 3 that who do geography and tourism. So here, they do geography and tourism, but not mathematics. And then lastly, they say 5 learners sit for only 6 learners only sit for tourism. So this part here where only learners that sit for tourism. So 6 of those learners sit for tourism. And then the nice thing here, from here, what you can already say is if you add this plus this plus this plus that, should always give you 16, because we are being told that 16 students sit for tourism. So meaning 5 plus 6 plus 3 plus this unknown here should always give us 16. So we can actually calculate that for now, even though we haven't answered our question. So we can say 5 plus 6 plus 3, let's call it x, should always give us 16. And then if we solve for x here, it's going to be 5 plus 6 plus 3. That is 5 plus 6, that's 11. 11 plus 3, that's 14. Take that 14, put it on the left hand side, becomes negative 14. 16 minus 14, that is 2. So there's 2 of students that sit for all of these subjects, mathematics, tourism, and geography. Only 2 that does 3 of them. Make sense? Okay, great. So now let's start answering our questions. So 11.1 says draw a Venn diagram to represent all the learners sitting for these examinations. We've done that. This is how you get your marks. So how you get your mark here, you get your mark for getting a 2. That 2 that we just calculated, now you get a full mark. And then you're gonna get a mark for doing 6, 5, 3, and 4. So you get a mark for that. if you do if you get 5, 6, 3, and 4, you get a mark for that. However, you need to get a mark for the rest of these two, for these two here. So how to get it, the mark for these two? Of course, you know that we say, let me use blue. We say that 4 plus 2 plus 5 should always give us 22. So we can always find this number here. So meaning you can say 5 plus 2 plus 4. 5 plus 2, that's 7. 7 plus 4, that is 11. And then so 11 minus 22, or 22 minus 11, that is another 11 here. So this is equal to 11. Make sense? Because the total, 11 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4 should always give us 22. Okay? And then as much as also 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3 should always give us 16. And again, for 18, 4 plus 2 plus 3 plus this unknown here should always give us 18. So how you get this unknown? Of course, we're going to say 4 plus 2, which is 6. 6 plus 3, that is 9. And 18 minus 9, that is another 9. So this is equal to 9. And you get a mark for that. You get a mark for 11 and the 9. Get a mark. That's how you get your 3 marks. Make sense? So that's how you draw your Venn diagram. You get your Venn diagram with all these numbers and you get a mark for these, for writing that correctly. Okay, so let's go. Let me take this up here first, just because we're doing 11.1. So let's go for 11.2. Okay, 11.2 says calculate the probability. Calculate probability that a learner chosen at random will sit for examinations at least 2 of the subjects. Right, at least 2 of the subjects. So if you look at this carefully, a learner can sit at least 2 of the subjects. So you can sit, if it's at least 2 of such subjects, you can be here. Right, it can be mathematics or tourism, or can be all of them, maths, tourism, and geography, or can be just mathematics and geography, or it can be just geography and tourism. Okay, how many learners do we have first? Before we answer that, so we're saying the probability here is it can be mathematics and tourism, which is a 5. Right, we say it can be mathematics and tourism, and then can be what? Mathematics and a geography, which is a 4, plus 4, and also can be a tourism and geography, which is a 3. It's 3 of them, and can be all of them, which is 2 of those students. So now we need to divide by the total of the student that we have. And the total of the student that we have, we can say 11 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4, punch it in calculator. So 11 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 9 plus 6, you should get your answer as 40. And then you can say, okay, cool, what is 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 divided by 40? You can quickly punch that in your calculator, but we can do it together. 5 plus 4, that is 9. 9 plus 3, that is what? 12. 12 plus 2, that's 14, divided by 40. And then you should get that as 7 over 20, which is 0.35. So basically it's 35%. The probability of getting, if you choose it randomly, the probability of getting a student that does at least 2 of these subjects is 35%. And how you get your 2 marks? You get a mark for getting the 40 that I asked you about, and you get a mark of getting the 14. Okay, so that's how you get your 2 marks. Great. So for 11.3, it's very important because you're going to be learning about independent. How do you calculate independent? So the 11.3 says determine if the events sitting for examinations in mathematics and sitting for examination in tourism are independent. Okay, so mathematics and tourism, calculate if they are independent and support your answer with necessary calculations. So what you need to know about independent is this. Note about independent is probability of A, okay, plus probability. Let me just write a different color actually. Probability of A and probability of, in this case, is mathematics and tourism. So let's say probability of M and probability of T. If those two, if these are equal, therefore it just means that implies independent. Okay, but if they're not equal, that means they are not independent. So that's what you need to prove. You need to find what is probability of M and T, meaning we can actually find probability of M and T, right? That's the first thing. What is probability of M and T? So what does this mean? What is the probability of a student doing mathematics and also doing tourism? So you're looking at this, doing mathematics. This is doing mathematics and also tourism. This is doing mathematics and also tourism. Does that make sense? So it's doing mathematics and also tourism. This is also doing mathematics and also tourism. But this is just tourism and geography. This is geography and mathematics. So the probability of doing mathematics and tourism, you're looking at 5 plus 7. So you're looking at 5 plus 2, which is 7. Divided by 4, of course, that's the total. So it's 7 over 40. And what do you get? If you punch it in your calculator, you get 0.175. Okay, so that's the probability of doing mathematics and tourism. Now, what is the probability of doing M? Just mathematics. Of course, we are told that we have 22 students that are doing mathematics, so you can just say 22 divided by 40, right? 22 divided by 40. What do you get? So if you punch that in your calculator, I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't have to punch it in your calculator really, but 22 over 40, you can punch it if you want to, but you don't have to punch it. And the probability of getting of probability of T, right? So probability of just only tourism students, we know that we have not only but students are doing tourism. We know that you have 16 students are doing tourism. So you're gonna say 16 divided by 40. And then because I say you don't need to do them, we need to just find the product of these two. So you're gonna say what you need to punch it is 22 over 40 times 16 over 40. What do you get? Punch that in your calculator and tell me what you get, but you should get 0.22. Now, do you see that this is not equal to that? We're not getting the same answer. So probability of M and T is not equal to probability of M times probability of T. Therefore, not independent. Right, so that's how you prove if two events are independent or not independent. So let me know if you get your question here. You are always going to be getting this question. Always. So it's very important that you understand them. It's very important that you get the gist of what is happening. It's very important that you understand how to draw your Venn diagram. Very important how to draw your Venn diagram, how to answer independent and dependent question, and also mutual exclusive and mutual inclusive questions, right? That's very important. So how do you get mark for 11.3? Basically, it's 4 marks, right? So you're definitely gonna get a mark for doing this calculation here, and you're gonna get a mark for doing, let me see, for getting this answer here. You're gonna get a mark for that, and you're gonna get a mark for actually telling us that they're not independent, and then you're gonna get a mark also for, let me see what else. Yeah, definitely gonna get a mark for also putting this together, like the 5 plus 2, gonna get a mark for that, because this is a very important part of the equation. So that's why it's becoming 4 marks. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think question about this. It's a very important question. It's a very nice question to have. But on the next video, I'm going to be doing question 10. So please tune in, go to the next video, and I'll see you in the next video. Boom.